It's been a while. We're here for some art time, guys. We wanted to share something that you could make as a gift, so check it out. Don't forget to stop into the local love shop for your favorite person this year. Hello, local Tarians. We are getting ready to do a quick beading tutorial. I hope you enjoy it. Hey everybody. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a really cool bead. You can add that to one of these beautiful bracelets, and these are really easy to find. I got a whole bag of them here. There's like 5 of them. One of these kind of Pandora style bracelets, you know. This one's obviously not real silver, but very pretty. And if you've got somebody who can do real silver, you can buy them real silver one, that's okay. But we're gonna do it on this. And we're gonna make a really pretty bead for it. And you could make several beads for this. I mean, you've got room on here for a few. And so yeah, let's get started. So how are we making that bead? We're gonna use seed beads. So we're going to start off with some size 8s, your choice of colors. I have a variety of colors. We're going to go with pink for this demonstration. And then you want size 11s, which I have a multitude of color for. So we could literally use whatever color we want. I chose some silver ones just to give this a try. We're going to need something to snip your thread with as well. You're going to need some nice quilting thread. Now, I'm using quilting thread. I highly recommend you use something more like a Fireline, something like that. This is just regular thread, but I did choose quilting thread because it is a stronger thread. So you'll need some of that. And you'll also need a needle, which you may, when I picked that up, you may have noticed I have a needle here. This one's pretty thin. It's not that like mine's kind of bent already because I've been using it. That's probably the one I'm still going to use, but I do have some alternative needles here in different sizes. Use whatever works best for you. The more flexibility in your needle, the better though, because sometimes you get a little tight on some of these stitches. And yeah, that's pretty much what we need to get started. We're going to be making a cute bead, the out of beads, so it's a bead Inception, if you will. All right, so let's get this art time underway. First off, you're going to take a pretty good piece of thread. You're going to want it pretty long to get started with, although we are going to make our beads separately, so if we decide to make a second bead or what have you to go along with this one, we can certainly do that. Set that aside for now. And then of course we are going to thread our needle. Hopefully this doesn't take me that long. Haha. If you want, you can also get beeswax to make your thread easier to travel through. And actually I have some, so I'll demonstrate that for you. Because it's probably not a bad idea, especially since we're going to have some small beads, really small beads. So you can get a block of beeswax, or you can get one that's preloaded into a plastic container. I didn't pay very much for this. I think like $4 or $5. It might have been more like 6, but you know, it could be different. So basically the premise is you're just going to put it down into the wax and you're going to pull it down so that it's in there a little bit. I'm probably not the best demonstrator of this, but then you just kind of run your thread through it, making sure that some of the wax gets on it. So see, now it's coming off of there with a little bit of a wax on it. And this will allow it to travel through the beads a little bit easier. If you have any issues with seeing, you can or if you're kind of in a dim place, you can get you a pair of these, they're called Mighty Sights. And they're very cool because not only can you magnify it so that you can see it better, but if need be, you can even turn a light on the situation. All right, so let's get going. Let's thread this needle. There we are. Sometimes flattening out the end of your thread will make it easier to get it in there. It can be a bit of a chore to get it onto your needle with such a tiny little hole. We're not going to be tying it at the end. We are going to have a single line, not double, just a single line. So we want a little tail here. It's just doubled at the top to make life a little easier. So if you're going to work with these beads that are kind of inexpensive and kind of wonky, maybe they're not uniform, I don't recommend it. But if you do, like I am today, just simply because it's what I have on hand, at least try to find some that are similarly sized. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so those look pretty uniform. They're not going to be identical, but I think it will make for a better project. So we're going to get it down to the bottom here, leaving a little bit of a tail. We're just going to wrap it around, and we're going to feed our needle through like this, through that hole. Me personally, I'm going to feed it through there a couple times. Okay, and we're going to make a circle. See, it looks a little better when the beads are more uniform, the better it looks. Obviously, these aren't the best beads, so this is just an example. I recommend you get uniform beads. Okay, so once you get it like that, you're going to go ahead and grab your tail and make another knot so that you have a nice circle. See how nice circle that is? Very cool. I like to do it at least twice. And then once you do that, we can go ahead and trim this nice and short, making sure not to cut your original line or your original thread, but just cut it nice and short as you can. There you go. We can kind of tuck it in. Now, we're going to keep this other line on because now we're going to pick up some of the small beads. So how are we going to do this? All right, so we're going to start where we're at. I'm actually going to throw it through the next bead to make sure. All right, guys, so now we're going to take one of these size 11s, little 11 bead, and you can pick whatever color you want, and you're going to go back in, and I've already threaded it through to the next bead, but we're going to go ahead and take this and we're going to go ahead and put it through the very next bead, and that'll leave this bead in between, as you can see, just like that. So we're going to do that all the way around. Let's pick up another one and keep going. And you don't want to pull your threads too fast, guys, because sometimes they'll get caught and get knotted. But you can kind of see what we're doing here. We are adding them in between the other beads. Very easy, guys. So far, this is super, super simple. Okay, so for the last one, you want to make sure you go through 2 beads. The first one and then the first little one. And that will make our little loop. So now we have this perfect little loop with alternating colors. Now again, it'll look a lot better if you use more uniform beads than I did. And let's show you the next step. All right, so now that we have our little first loop, we're gonna get started on our next row. And we're gonna pick up 3 of the size 11s. And you can switch up colors if you want, although I think this is better as a uniform design. But you know, as you get used to it, you can change it however you want. So we're going to pick up 3 of these little beads, these number 11s. Now we're going to go back in to the same one we just came out of. So we're going to go back in and we're going to come out this big one. So now notice I'm in both. And we're going to pull it through. And again, you want to take your time pulling these through, guys, because otherwise you get a knot And then you have a whole issue that might even lead to you having to start over. So take it very slow, and when you get there, it's going to look like this, kind of like a little diamond. Okay. All right, so before you pick up any more beads, you're going to go ahead and go into the very next silver bead from the previous row. Okay, sorry, I dropped that. Right into that silver bead right there from the previous row. Now we're going to pick up 3 beads again. And we are going to come back through that same silver bead, through the pink one, and through the other silver one. Okay, so we're going to go through all 3 of these. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Now, this is where it's important to go slow so that you don't get any twists. You want it to sit properly. It needs to come down properly. Sometimes wrapping it around your finger and then just slowly pulling it in is a good way to avoid an issue. There we go. And we've got our second little diamond thing here. Very cute, very cute. Okay, and we're going to continue it that way all the way around. So, let's see here. There we go, we're getting somewhere. And now we're down to the last one. Alright, so for this last one, it is slightly different. So let's give that a try. Every now and then, guys, you might also let your needle dangle. Kind of let out anything that might have twisted it up. Sometimes they get a little twisted. And you want to make sure you keep dropping your tail, so that it gets shorter up here and you've got more room back here to play with. So now we're going to get our 3 beads, and we're just going to go right into this gray bead. Just a single gray bead, and again, take your time. Don't let it wrap too far around. Make sure you check it before you do the final tug, otherwise it could get crooked. Sometimes putting your hand up here and blocking them as they come down will help out. But sometimes I'll pull them back out just to be sure that it didn't get crossed. You don't want them crossed, you want them to come down like they're meant to. Here's where it gets a little bit different, guys, when you pull those 3 in. Now we're going to flip it over, and we are going to go up this bead, which is one of the 3 we just put in. It was the first one that went in technically. And then we're going to come out the top bead for the next crown. So we went up this one, and now we're coming in over here. And we're just gonna tighten that up. Alright guys, so now that we ended that off, we're going to be picking up the colored beads. And the colored beads, we're going to find one of those. So now that we're coming in over here, we're now going to pick up a bead, and we're going to go to the next point on the star. So the next point. We're in this point, and now we're going to go to this point. And again, very slowly, make sure it doesn't get twisted. And there's that, and we're going to do that all the way around. Just point to point to point. Alright guys, so now when we finish that row, oops, let me get it to the right place here. You'll notice that there are 6 in the middle. Oops, 6 beads in the middle, 6 little stars, and 6 beads on the outside. Now here's where it becomes a bead. we're going to pull this. We're going to kind of push it like that so it forms like a bead. And then what we're going to do is start going through these pink ones one at a time. Just one at a time. We're just going to keep going through them and pulling it along, making sure we tighten it so it becomes more of a bead. Super easy, right? I mean, this is not that hard, guys. Ow, like I just poked myself. See, it doesn't take much. And then you just keep going back through. And once you get back around where you started, you can get kind of a view of what this bead looks like. And here we go. Kind of a sexy little shot here. Looks like we've got a little, probably because I need to pull it a little tighter. Yeah, that's where I just ended, so we're gonna fix that in a second. But you get the idea, and then that's the hole that you put everything in. But you get the idea. So now when you get through them, and you can go through them a second time if you want. We're gonna be going through them though. So what I would do is I would go through one more. And then we're going to go into this little silver bead right here. And we're going to go into the next one. And the next one. We just want to make sure we're tightening everything up so that it's nice and secure. I'm going to go through each little of those 4 things and come back through here. And yeah, I'm going to go back through these pink ones again to be sure everything's tight. It seems a little, mine seems a little loose here, so we're just going to tighten it up. Pull them tight as you can get them. Now here's the thing, we want to make sure this ends on a strong note. Our bead is done basically, but we need to make sure that it's not going anywhere. So what we're going to do is we are going to be, we're going to go ahead and go through this one. And then we are going to go through one of the strings in the middle, okay? Now when you go through that string, we're going to pull it till it gets about right here. We're going to make a loop, as you can see. Hopefully you can see that loop right there. We're going to put our needle in, and basically we're reinforcing this with knots. So now we're going to go through the next one, and we're going to do the same thing all the way around. String my thing, but yes. So once you do that all the way around, now you have this perfect little bead that you could add to anything. Now mine's pretty loose. I think, like I said, I recommend you use more uniform beads than I did because they'll come out better, but quite honestly, this came out really cute and I'm not mad at it at all. Look how cute that is. Nice, right? All right, and there is the finished product. Let's go in for a little closer look. Hopefully my camera will focus. But super cute. And of course, you know, you just give this bracelet to whoever you want. And there you go. And that, you know, didn't take that long to make this bead, obviously. We just went around, what, like 3 rows? I mean, not too bad. You can do this in whatever colors you want. I think the key though is to use the the bigger beads size 8 and then the smaller beads size 11. And I hope you liked this art time. Maybe we'll have some more beading activities coming up. And I hope that if you like them, you'll let us know. And other than that, guys, make sure you follow us on all of our platforms and drop us a comment. Let us know what you thought about our project today. Or if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to let us know. And just another little look at this. How cute is that? I mean, come on. All right, so here it is on. Very, very cute. Now you could do multiple of these. You could probably even make them smaller maybe and print them on either side. You could add other beads on. I personally think this is very cute. Don't forget to drop us a comment down below. And don't forget to support local artists, guys. They need you. They have Etsy's, they have, Facebook pages, Instagrams, and we have a video that showcases that every single month. So if you want to see more of that, just let us know. And other than that, guys, peace. We're going to catch you next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with all your friends.
And hit that bell so you know when we have a new video.